Session. A very good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the 276th edition of our Saturday webinar series hosted by Manus Center for Innovation and Agripreneurship. So, myself, Dr. Ahalya, and I'm delighted to engage with such a dynamic audience today. So, before going to the session, let me talk about our center. And so, since October 2020, this flagship knowledge platform has delivered 275 uninterrupted weekly webinars, driving capacity building, innovation diffusion, and in entrepreneurship movement across the India's agriculture sectors. So this year also marks 6 impactful years of Manasia championing agripreneurship, innovation ecosystem, and enterprise acceleration in India's agriculture. So till date, our outreach has connected with more than 50,000 participants, featuring insights from 500 expert speakers, ecosystem leaders, and industry practitioners who have catalyzed transformation across agricultural value chains. So Manasia has emerged as a launchpad for agri-innovators, empowering over 1,100 entrepreneurs to convert ideas into scalable ventures. We are proud to have incubated 562 startups spanning diverse agriculture sectors, strengthening India's agri-innovation landscape. At Manasia, we adopt a human-centric, ecosystem-driven approach to the entrepreneurship development. We recognize that every founder brings not just a business model, but a purpose-driven vision to uplift farming community, enhance livelihood, and contribute to the sustainable food systems. So we are also offering expert guidance and specialized training in crucial areas such as agro-processing, post-harvest technologies, value addition, farm mechanization, animal husbandry, fisheries, dairy, commodity trading, supply chain management, and agri consultancy, ensuring that our entrepreneurs are equipped to tackle every challenge in their journey. In today's session, we are going to focus on theme called urban agriculture, and by discussing the topic called soilless cultivation, the rise of aeroponics and aquaponics in modern agriculture. It is privileged to introduce our resource persons for today's session. So to begin, I would like to call our management to introduce our first speaker.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good morning to all. I am Gauri Jagudi from Team Manage CIA. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Mrithun Chakravarti, sir, a leading expert in advanced agricultural technologies and urban farming systems. Dr. Chakravarti holds a PhD in biotechnology and has over 20 years of experience in agriculture research and innovation. He is currently working as crop innovation lead at Urban Kisan Private Limited, Hyderabad, where he leads research and development in vertical farming, indoor agriculture, and hydroponics production system. He has earlier served as head of research and development in reputed agri-biotech organization and has been instrumental in developing modern technology-driven farming solutions for sustainable food production. His work focuses on making high-tech farming practical, scalable, and accessible, especially in urban and peri-urban settings where land and water resources are limited. We are delighted to have him to share his expertise on today's topic. With this brief introduction, I now invite Mr. Mrithun Chakravarti, sir, to take the session forward. Over to you, sir.
Hello, good morning to all of you. Uh, Thank you for the beautiful introduction. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you're
Yeah.
audible.
Yeah, I will try to share my windows now. Yeah, my presentation is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, thank you again for the good introduction. So before going to the topic, today's topic is urban agriculture and soilless cultivation, the rise of aeroponics and aquaponics in modern agriculture. So this topic has a lot of mixed things. We are talking about urban culture, we are talking about agriculture, like what is soilless cultivation, then comes aeroponics, aquaponics, lot of modern agriculture terms. uh, Before going to the details of this, we should understand what is the greatest challenge as our Indian agriculture sector is facing right now. So I have been given only 20 minutes, so I will try to rush ahead with these slides. There is a lot of information in the slides, and we can have the question and answer sessions later on. So the first slides where we are seeing there is the greatest challenge is the low yielding and productivity is going down. So it is not along with the benchmark global production, it is 50% less. Then we have poor infrastructure because farm mechanization is very less over the time. Still, it has to catch up. Where in developed countries, 90% of the farms are mechanized. In India, it is only 50%, 45%. So a lot of areas to be catched up by our Indian farmers and farming sectors. Then limited value addition, marketing sources are less, and less low access to credit. Of course, financial institute, lot of financial institute are coming up in the recent times. A lot of fintech startups have come up in agriculture sector. And seeing these trends, like what is the key changes which is coming up in next 5 to 6 years, what we can see how the trends are developing. If you see, like first thing is precision agriculture, lot of automations are coming up. Then biotechnology, so biotechnology too for tastier foods and nutritious foods, how consumers and farmers are getting intimate and producing whatever the consumers are needed. Farm and farmer connects are more getting stronger. So major rural jobs are creating high value crops, high value agro companies are getting created over the time in rural areas. More fresh and green harvest food. Food is more like a medicine, it is treated by the consumers.
Sir, please keep in slideshow mode, sir.
It's in slide mode, it's not okay. Can you share from your side?
Okay, sir. My team kindly shares sir's presentation.
Yeah,
Now it is fine, sir.
yeah, you can go to the next slide. Yes, we were discussing about the key trends which is happening in next 5 to 6 years or 10 years down the line. What all we are going to observe. So now the slide is visible in the slide mode.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah, yeah. Please go to the next slide. So catching up with the topic, today's topic, urban agriculture. If you see urban agriculture, why it is coming up and why it is important, getting importance in the recent times, because of the rapid urban population growth which is happening around the urban areas. A lot of food miles is the cost of food is getting increased because of the food miles, carbon footprints, all this terminology you have been hearing. So this is why the food is becoming more costlier. It has to be grown around the urban areas for fresh round production and process available within the cities, so that if it is produced very far from the cities, by the time it comes to the city limit, the food quality, the nutrition level is going down. All these are different major functions which is promoting urban agriculture as such. We know ki all this vegetable whatever is grown is mostly around the cities, not more than 50-100 kilometers away from the cities, because these green vegetables has to come to the city. The market is city. Thereby, like, another major shift what is happening is agriculture has been from the traditional agriculture from millions of years, from thousands of years. It has been a geoponic system where it is soil based, but slowly this has been changing and a lot of soilless cultivation is coming into picture, which is trending towards control environment agriculture. So before going into deep into this understanding what is soilless agriculture, we have to also understand what is control environment approach. What is control environment agriculture? So there is no soil dependency, nutrient supply is directly to the plant and then integrated. So these are all systems where it is getting integrated. This controlled environment agriculture, which can be vertical, stacked, or indoors also is possible. So yeah, next slide please. So let us discuss about what is control environment agriculture. It is in the short form, it is called as CEA. It's an integrated approach. It is combination of multiple disciplines. See, agriculture is not only about biology. So there is a lot of other subjects which is integrated into agriculture, and thereby it has become a total controllable systems. So if you take an example of biology, like there is always plant physiology, crop genetics, insect based diseases. These are the biological component of control environment agriculture. Then comes the physical physics, like climate dynamics, how to conserve the energy balance, how to transfer, how to limit the heat transfer, light controlling, airflow controlling. Then comes the chemistry factor, where is nutrition formulation, pH regulation, EC, that is EC management, and water quality. Of course, these are the chemistry factors. Then engineering factors are like engineering structures, greenhouse structures, irrigation systems, climate hardwares, like how we are protecting from the climate. Then there are sensors and automations. These are engineering components of the agriculture which is coming up. Then data science, which is always it is entering into each of the field. Data science, so real-time monitoring of the data, how the plant is reacting to the environment, how the plant is growing, how much nutrient it is taking. Analytics, we can have an analytics in that, modeling system, prediction systems, system optimization. So these are the points where data science comes into picture. And of course, the last point, last and major subject where agriculture has been very weak is the economics. We have to always work on the economics point of view, because agriculture as a business, when we are talking about, when we are talking about as a startup, when we are talking about as a business, it has to be seen from the lens through a economics lens, whether it is making profit, whether there is a capex, with how much capex it is involved, how much opex is involved, what is the resource efficiency of that system, how much labor productivity is happening, what is the risk reduction, how can we access the market. All these things are very important. So control environment agriculture is optimizing all this subject and getting into agriculture. That is how we have to start thinking about agriculture in today's world. Next slide, please. Yeah. So if you see, this slide is mainly projecting what I have discussed in the previous slide, wherein the control agriculture is nothing but the resource input, how much input is put into the system, whether it is structurally, whether it is energy wise, how much energy is needed, how much water is needed, nutrient wise. And then plant production system is very important, wherein substrate choice on what we are growing, whether it is an inert media or whether it is an organic media, whether it is a water media, whether it is an coco peat media, vermiculite media, anything, everything and anything. Again, we have to consider all the points taken into picture, how much economics is used, whether we can use a discarded industrial waste for an agriculture production. Then nutrition system, in nutrition solution recipes, how to optimize the nutrient capability of the plant, whether to change the recipe, how to reduce the nitrogen, how to increase the phosphate. All those things can be modified in control agriculture. If we go, how to manage the root system, how to manage the root zone with a specific temperature, pH, EC, liquid and air combinations, whether it has oxygenation in the root, how to manage the crop with the IPM, like integrated pest management, whether to identify the insects beforehand and reduce the sprays. All these come into picture as a control environment agriculture. It's a basket of things wherein lot of skills, lot of recent science comes into picture. Of course, I already spoke about data operations, data logistics, logging in and analytics, labor and workforce. All these things has been covered, and we will cover it in details in the next few slides. Please go to the next slide. Yeah, so one by one, we will try to cover what are the different factors of control environment agriculture, and later on we will enter into aeroponics and aquaponics as a part of this system. So before understanding aeroponics and aquaponics, we have to understand what is control environment agriculture, because that is the main subject where it can be happen in field, it can happen in greenhouse, it can happen in hydroponic, it can happen in aeroponic, uh, aquaponic, anything. So the overall concept of this thing is we have to have a greenhouse, proper greenhouse control system. The foundation of the greenhouse, what is, where is the greenhouse to be set up, what is the topology, how much wind break is there, structurally how much light can it intercept, how much heat it can accumulate or it can give out the heat, ventilation, how much ventilation is efficient or not. So all these things comes into greenhouse structures. So greenhouse becomes one of the major structure for control environment agriculture, because we need to control what all the different factors which is affecting agriculture. The number of factors we can control, it will give a more power in our hand, thereby we can dictate in the terms of economics. So that's, please go to the next slide, please. Yeah, I was talking about the first point as a greenhouse. Then comes what are the different systems, whether it is hydroponic systems. Hydroponic systems, of course, it has a lot of advantage because it is higher water use efficiency. The growth is faster in the plant. The nutrient uptake is better in the system. In hydroponic system, there can be a many different types of system. If you have gone through any hydroponic webinar or any hydroponic search in the Google, you will, of course, you will find out NFT, DWC. NFT is nutrient film technique. DWC is deep water technique, wick technique, ebb and flow technique, deep drip technique. Though these are different techniques which are used in hydroponic, apart from aeroponic and aquaponic. So these are the different techniques. It can be a closed system. It can be an open system. Open system means like you are not using the whole efficiency. The water is going out of the system. Closed system is generally nutrient and water is taken inside, again rolled back into the system. So mainly the example is aquaponic, wherein the same water is circulated between the two three systems. Again, NFT is also the water is circulated. In case of drip, sometimes it is open system, sometimes it is a closed system. It can be, most of them can be a both system or closed system as such. Then comes what is the growth media in that, what we are putting, whether it is how much, what kind of waste we are putting, whether it is a cocoa peat, whether it's an industrial waste, whether it is a rice husk, it can be anything. But what is the property of that uh, growing media, whether it has good porosity, it has a water balance and air water balance, bulk density is correct. So most of you, like maybe a lot of you from agriculture background, so you may be knowing what is a bulk density, porosity, water holding capacity. These are the general terms what we learn in soil science, but nowadays we can create it in terms of agriculture. What is happening, we cannot change the bulk density of a soil. Whatever is present in the soil, we have to work on that. But in hydroponics, what happens, if we need a different system for growing, if we need a root crop, we can change the growing media. So that is an advantage of a hydroponic system, because we have the flexibility of changing the growth media, changing the nutrient, changing the temperature, anything on everything, almost everything. What all factors which are controlling the plant growth are under our capacity to change. So whether it is depending on root health, again, how to change the temperature, how much temperature to be maintained in the root zone, what is the dissolved oxygen level, DO level in the root zone, whether because in summers the dissolved level oxygen goes down, which will hamper the plant growth. I mean, lot of technicalities is there in hydroponic, but if we go into technicalities and if we understand each of these technicalities, it is very easy to manage the crop. It is easy to identify how much yield will come in that batch, how much quantity of nutrient is required for that batch. So thereby we get a very good numbers to estimate, we get a very good numbers to validate using economics, what becomes our opex, what becomes our capex, and how much labor is required. All these things, is it becomes very easy when we are running on a hydroponic system, or whether it is an aquaponic system of growing a plant. Next slide, please. In the similar ways, when I was telling about how do we manage the root system, like now comes the picture of chemistry and physiology or crop physiology, where we have to manage a proper nutrient management system has to be followed. There is a lot of technical terms which is used here, Muller charts and talk diagrams. These are basic chemistry, where the nutrient, how each nutrient is related to the other nutrient, how much it can be used, how much it can be if one nutrient goes down, what effect the plant have. All these things can be managed because of these systems are very very flexible, and these all things has to be kept in mind before running an hydroponic system or any other controlled environment agriculture system. Whether it is a macro micronutrient, how much, with most of the times it has to be used as a water soluble nutrients, because we are giving in the direct irrigation system. Then pH also plays a very very important role in any of this hydroponic system, wherein based on the pH the nutrient availability varies. If it is a very low pH, most of the nutrient will not be able to uptake. If it is very high pH, again most of the nutrient will not be able to absorbed by the plant. So thereby a optimum pH has to be continuously maintained. That's why every day or every 2 days there is has to be checked for pH and EC balance. So this is one of the things which can be automated also. There are sensors which can be used to manage the pH and EC in the plant level, in the system level. How much carbon dioxide enrichment can be done, how much oxygenation can be done in the root systems. So all this system, all these factors very much is important for a successful hydroponic or aeroponic or aquaponic culture. Next slide please. In this, again, how do we manage the above ground level environment, whether it is temperature, relative humidity, air, light, how much light is coming? So these, again, these are the 5 basic major factors, environmental factors, which are governing in the growth of within a controlled environment agriculture. Temperature can be controlled using fogging system or evaporative cooling system. What kind of greenhouse you are using to control the temperature, whether it is how much heat you are managing, whether you have to uh, conserve the heat into the during winter season, or you have to push out heat into the summer season. So these all things can be done in a temperaturely controlled greenhouse system. Again, in case of relative humidity, how much airflow, how much transpiration, we have to have a track of how much transpiration is happening. What is the vapor pressure deficit, VPD? VPD is a very important factors in case of plant growth, because until there is a transpiration, until there is a root flow, from water is flown from the root to the leaf, there is no biomass development. So one thing what is happens in the greenhouse is, because of the controlled temperature, because there is no air movement, most times the transpiration doesn't happen. So we have to increase the transpiration, we have to increase the airflow within the greenhouse, because it's a closed structure. How to increase the vapor deficit? Vapor deficit has to be at specific point during flowering, specific point during crop growth, to manage proper biomass or fruit development or leaf development for a plant. So all these factors, because most of the people, if they are setting up a greenhouse, they lose these kind of production, because of they are not looking after the very intricate details of science which is involved. There is a lot of crop physiology which is involved, there is a lot of chemistry which is involved, physics that is involved. It's not very difficult, it's school level science of course, but everything has to be taken care, every factors has to be taken care. The root zone has to be taken care. Artificial, if you are providing an artificial light, if you are controlling those factors, whether it is light in the greenhouse, most of the times what happens, there is a sunlight, we don't have to give a supplementary light. But if you want a higher production, what do you give the plant a specific extended light. So that is called as photosynthetic active radiation. If we can, if in winter season the plants are getting only 10 hours of light, if you want to increase the production, if you can increase another 2 hours of lighting, buy a supplementary light, whether it is a led lights, mostly led lights, and give a specific spectrum, increase the period of plant. Because all this, again, we have read in our BSc agriculture times, keep photo period increase the photosynthesis, and photosynthesis increases the production. So we can increase our production all these by all these factors. Again comes another factor is DLI, that is daily light integration. How much light you are putting, how much over the year, how much you are optimizing for the crop, so that there is high yield within the crop. Same way, climate systems, whether it is irrigation demand, nutrient uptake, pest and disease pressure, all these things, climate can interfere. Like if you give a proper climatic condition, if you give a proper vapor pressure deficit for that plant, for that stage, there will be less pest and disease. If the transpiration is more, there is a humidity conditions around the leaves, then there is a fungal attack. Chances of getting a fungal attack is more. So all these factors also is very important to consider within a closed system, whether it is within an urban agriculture system or control environment system, whatever we call it as. Because most of the times we get integrated within lot of terminologies, but these are the intricacies, these are the technologies which we have to take care. Yeah, next slide please. This again, I was talking about how to manage the crop, because again you're covering the crop with a protection. You are There is no airflow, though you are covering it, because other management system also has to be followed. You have, because you have covered the crop, there is no insect coming outside from outside, because insects are, some parts of insects are beneficial and some parts of insects are not beneficial. Like this is pest, you are controlling the pest, but automatically you are also controlling pollinators. So in the greenhouse, the major problem is there is no air, there is no proper air flowing. Whether you just consider as a not only greenhouse, like think of aquaponic, think of aeroponic, think of any kind of ponic system, wherein you have covered it within a structures. There is no proper airflow, thereby insect has been controlled, but also pollinator has been controlled. So if there is no pollination, the fruit formation doesn't happen. So all these things factors also has to be taken care in the mind when you are doing in the greenhouse system. The training, the pruning system, the staking system has to be properly done to manage the space of the crops. The root balance has to be properly managed. What is the spacing? Because in the field, spacing is strictly very managed very properly, but in the indoor system, whether it is a control environment system, the root spacing is not matched properly. So that plant density has to be managed for proper relative humidity conditions to be optimal for the plants. So all these factors like integration, pest and disease management has to be done, preventive management, monitoring, proper monitoring every day, every weekly monitoring, if what insects are coming. We can have a different lighting system to attract the pest, or we can have a sticky pad system wherein we monitor how much insects are coming into the greenhouse, what is the stages, what is the steps we have to take at that point of time. Now a lot of AI based pest detection is coming up, which is going around in the greenhouse and detecting what all pest is getting attacked. So a lot of systems are coming up, and these all has to be integrated into our agriculture system. Next slide please. So automatically the next part is, as I was mentioning, a lot of sensors, IoTs, automations, precision agriculture models are coming up. A lot of development in case of data analytics. So previously these sensors were there, but these are very costly sensors. Now it has been produced in a large quantity, and the it has become very cheap. Like in the fields, in the greenhouses, these can be used, and it can record the data. Once you have the data, you know how to monitor the data and how to change the data. Like if we know ki, okay, temperature is going up, what are the factors? If I can put on the fan, the temperature will go down. If the relative humidity is going up, what are the factors we can do to reduce or increase the relative humidity? I can put on the misting. So a lot of automation is coming up in the greenhouse system. A lot of automation is coming up in any of these hydroponic systems. Sustainable substrate moistures, how much there can be a moisture meter which will detect how much moisture is there in the substrate, when to irrigate, how many times to irrigate. All these things can be automated using the sensors. There are IoT enabled sensors, there are sensors for atmospheric sensors, there are soil based sensors, there are other different sensors which are used in the recent times. So this integration of all these things are called as precision agriculture. So we know how much irrigations to be given at what point of time. The plant depends on the plant stage, depends on the plant transpiration ratio, depends on the plant the season. In the summer season, the number of irrigation has to be more. In the winter season, the number of irrigation has to be less. Thereby you are optimizing the water. The fertilization, precision fertilization is also fertigation, sorry, fertigation is also can be controlled. Like okay, at the seedling stage the plant doesn't need that much fertilizer, so we give a lower dose of fertilizer. In the higher stage where there is a flowering and fruiting, lot of nutrients is required, lot of calcium is required, nitrogen is required. That time the irrigation, the fertigation system, the the recipe can be changed, wherein we increase each of the concentration of the salts. Thereby we reach a precision fertilization also, or fertigation, sorry. Predicting the crop analytics, of course, like how much yield is going to be there from that crop.
Sorry for the interruption. We'll quickly finish it so that because since we have 1 hour time only.
Yes. I
Yeah,
am
okay, sir.
almost done. Another 2-3 slides. Give me five
Sure,
minutes
sir,
more.
sure.
I'm just that's what
Okay,
I'm
sir.
trying to rushing very fast from each slides. So
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
can go
Okay,
to the
sir.
next slide. Next slide, please. So yeah, these all points what I have covered in the previous things were mainly about the controlled environment agriculture and generalizing the whole concept of what is happening in the terms of precision agriculture, what is happening in the terms of hydroponic, aquaponic, uh, all kind of ponic cultures. So today's talk demands more of a talk about aeroponic as well as aquaponic. So let us go into some details about the aeroponics also, because aeroponics is a highest precision of controlled environment agriculture, because you are precisely maintaining the roots in the perfect condition, not depending on any buffer, whether it is soil or whether it is a media. So the roots are directly given the what is required for the root at specific temperature. What is the temperature required? What is the oxygen required? Moisture required? It can be given into the root directly, thereby further optimizing and further making the system efficient. Again, the major point is maximizing oxygen availability in the root. It is extremely high nutrient and water use efficiency, as I was discussing, like how much nutrient and how much water is required by the root, and that much only is pushed to the root system through kind of misting. The major advantage is faster root growth and shoot growth, and the yield per area will always become higher, because everywhere, wherever we are talking about hydroponics or where we are talking about controlled environment agriculture, one of the major concern is what is the yield per unit area and time. If we can increase the yield per unit area and as well as the time, if we can take like 4 cycle of a crop instead of 3 cycle, that gives extra economics, that gives extra money. If we can get 5 kg out of 1 square meter, if we can get 7 kg out of 1 square meter, that gives extra economics, extra money in the hands of the growers. So that is the point where the whole system is optimized to get extra out of square feet area or time. Next slide, please. Within the aeroponic area, again, there are like majorly two things: low pressure aeroponics and high pressure aeroponics. Low pressure aeroponics are mainly for experimental purpose. Someone wants to experiment in their university trials. It is majorly known as a socoponic, wherein it is just slightly different from deep water cultivation. Because the air pressure is less, there is no major control. But if it is has to be a professionally done and in large scale, it has to be done in for total agriculture point of view, like 1 or 2 acres greenhouse, you are setting a greenhouse, you are wanted to put an aeroponic system in that time we don't use low pressure aeroponics, we have to use high pressure aeroponics, where the pressure and droplet size is very scientifically managed, and that will give extra yield, extra whatever I discussed in the previous slide. It will have that more efficiency. Next slide, please. Coming to the next topic is like aquaponics. Aquaponics is, again, as we were discussing all throughout this session, is like there are a lot of hydroponics. Aquaponics is one of it, wherein 3 systems are integrated. Why 3 systems? Because one more major system is microorganisms play major important role in aquaponics. So it is not visible, it is not seen in the seen in the naked eye, but microorganisms plays a very important role in aquaponics, because the fish extract has to be converted into nitrate you by nitrifying bacteria. So there is, these are the three living organisms setting up a system wherein the fish waste is getting converted to ammonia, ammonia is getting converted to nitrate, nitrate, nitrite and nitrate. See, this nitrate is used by the plant, and again, plant is used as a biofilter for filtering out the nitrate from the water and giving back to the pure water or the clear water to the fish. So this way, there is a three-way system wherein three kind of organisms are playing together to maintain a closed loop system of growing, plant growing on fish growing. So the why it can be efficient, because it's a circulatory system, nutrient and fertilizer is less, water is not has to be, we don't need extra, lot of extra chemical fertilizer is to be provided is less. Of course, we are producing fish protein and crop plant, then it's a most organized system of organic. If you talk about organic system, this is most efficient in the terms of organic system. Others, again, there is a lot of chemistry involved, there is a lot of nutrient involved, it cannot be finalized as an organic agriculture. Please mind, none of these hydroponics are organic agriculture. Okay, people generally get confused. Most of these hydroponics are organic. We can go into different controversy, because organic, we don't know what is organic. Most of the salt which is coming up in the fertilizers are chemical salt. So these salts what we take every day, like NaCl, or NaCl is also a salt. Okay, so lot of new terminologies, lot of new people think organic is only, but organic is hydroponic is not organic. Yeah, next slide please. Coming to my last and second last slide, I think what I was telling about is we have to scale this in control environment agriculture. Scaling is very important for long-term success. We cannot just have a small trial and think of there is a economic balance will come and we will start earning lakhs of rupees. That generally doesn't happen, because these systems work on scale. It needs lot of area, then the capex will come down, the opex will come down. Okay, labor availability, because it has to be scaled up. Once you scale up, there is automation system can be implemented, a standard crop cycles can be done. All these things are again based on economics, as I was discussing. Most thing, agriculture has to be think or thought or seen from the lens of economics. That makes sense when we do it in a scale. Yeah, next slide please. This is giving just the scenario how it is changing over the world, like how it is developing. The CAGR, it may vary, like a lot of different market research I was going through. Some of them are claiming to be 11%, some of them are claiming to be 24%. I have taken an average growth. If you take a CAGR growth of 18% also, like this is the way the hydroponic or control environment agriculture market is developing worldwide. So in India also we have our own advantages, we have our own disadvantages being in a agrarian society, because the environment is not very harsh, but it is going to be harsh. There are scopes within the system wherein people have to start working on it. We have to start working on the science behind it. Control environment agriculture is there to stay. Whether it is implemented in the large scale, small scale, it has to be seen in the future, but it is picking up. Of course, all the systems are picking up. Hydroponic is picking up, aeroponics is picking up, aquaponics is picking up. All these systems are getting picked up in the next 5-10 years of time. We will see lot of agriculture industrial like production happening around the urban sectors. That is what is a major talk about today's talk. Yeah, next slide please. Yeah, again, this is some of the Indian agri-tech landscape, how it is changing the next generation of agriculture, whether it is a farm to consumer brands. A lot of consumer brands are coming up, a lot of market linkage it is creating. A lot of startups are working on the linkage between the market group and farmers. Precision agriculture and automation, of course, my company comes under this category. Like a lot of other companies are also working on to give a precision agriculture edge for the farmers to have lot of information in their hand to take decisions. these informations in hand for taking decisions will ultimately result in economics, ultimately reduce in the product, reduce in the fertilizer consumption, reduce in the irrigation consumption, reduce in the electricity consumption, and thereby increasing the profit within the farmers. That is what is the target of most of these companies. Most of these uh, people have to work towards this target. It is not, it is achievable. It is, if we can increase our productivity and decrease our like consumption of energy, consumption of water, consumption of nutrient, consumption of pesticide, of course we will enter into the profitable zone. The ultimate result is that. I think this was my last slide. That's it. If we can have that question answer sessions later in the session.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Bithun sir, for
Thank
such a
you.
knowledge-rich session on soilless cultivation, the rise of aeroponics and aquaponics in modern agriculture. You clearly explain why urban agriculture and soilless cultivation are becoming essentials in today's world of rapid urbanization and the context of limited land and the climate change. And your discussion, especially on the controlled environment agriculture, showed how biology, engineering, chemistry, data science come together to create efficient and high precision farming system. Thank you once again for sharing the hydroponics, aeroponics, and aquaponics along with the root zone management and plant nutrition. So thank you, sir. And participants, if you have any questions regarding this session, you can keep in chat box, and also you can raise your hand so the questions will be taken up after the second speaker presentation. So without delay, I would like to introduce our second speaker. So to invite our second speaker, I would like to call our managing intern Subhashini.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm Subhashini from Team Manage CAA. It's my honor to introduce Ms. Pranita, who is accomplished agribusiness professional and soilless cultivation expert with over 5 years hands of experience in hydroponics, aeroponics, aquaponics, and controlled environment agriculture. She has worked with several reputed agri organizations such as HM Class as germination specialist and Simply Fresh Private Limited as an agronomist, contributing to large-scale commercial hydroponic production. Her expertise includes seed germination as per ISTA standards, nursery and crop management, nutrient and water optimization, and the operation of advanced automation systems such as climate control and urbanity seeding technologies. She has successfully cultivated a wide range of leafy greens, herbs, and more than 40 varieties of microgreens. In addition to her technical work, Ms. Pranita actively mentors agripreneurs and agri startups, supporting them in farm design, technology adoption, and sustainable production models. With a strong blend of industry exposure and practical insights, she will share valuable perspectives on emerging trends and future opportunities in soilless farming systems. With a short introduction, I would like to hand over the session to Ms. Pranita. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Subhashini, for the introduction. So you will be sharing or I will be sharing the presentation?
Ma'am, you can share, ma'am. I made you as a presenter.
Okay, thank you. So is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So good morning, everyone. And I thank Manage team for inviting me as a speaker. So today we will be covering about urban agriculture, soilless cultivation, and the rise of aeroponics and aquaponics in modern agriculture. Yes. So today we will be covering all these contents. So as sir discussed all the technical aspects, urban agriculture is a wide thing. So in urban agriculture, there are different things like soil-based and soilless cultivations. So today we will be covering about soilless cultivation, and in that we will be covering about aeroponics and aquaponics. Yes. So, what is urban agriculture? So, it's generally, in simple terms, it is like farming practices which are being done in the urban areas. It can be in greenhouses or in the community gardens or rooftops, anything. So, that and why urban agriculture is rapidly increasing in these days? That's because of rapid growth of urbanization, which is leading to immense pressure of demand for fresh crops. as most of them are shifting to urban areas. There's a lot of demand for fresh crops because agriculture crops, everything the produce is highly perishable and we cannot keep it for a long time. So that's the reason there's a shift from conventional agriculture to modern agriculture, especially urban agriculture. And also, as we know, like most of the soil is being depleted because of large use of pesticides and everything. So people are shifting from soil-based agriculture to soilless cultivation. And that's the main reason for increase in demand for soilless cultivation, especially in the modern agriculture. So, like I said, urban agriculture covers both soil-based and soil-less cultivation. In soil-less cultivation, we can see like many types like hydroponics, aeroponics, aquaponics, and controlled environment agriculture. So, what is as we know, what is hydroponics? It is like plants grown in nutrient-rich media uh, with using inert material, whatever may be coco peat or perlite, vermiculate, or oasis cubes. But what is aeroponics? In aeroponics, we don't use any media. We use only high pressure water mist, nutrient mist for the growth of the plants. So the main difference between hydroponics and aeroponics is lack of media in aeroponics and using media in hydroponics. And what is aquaponics? In addition to aeroponics and hydroponics, in aquaponics we also additionally add like aquaculture. I mean, combining the systems of aquaculture along with the growing media for the growth of plants. So that is aquaponics. And in control environment, just like sir has mentioned, we use high-tech greenhouses and control all the controlled precision techniques for the growth of the plants. So here we can see, and what is here we can see, in aeroponics we use nutrient-rich water, and along with the high-pressure misting nozzles, and we use high mist nozzles for the spraying of the nutrient solution, so that roots are exposed to high nutrient solution and they get the nutrients and the plant grows. But yes, what are the suitable areas in aeroponics? We can use from small apartment spaces to the largest size scale farmings. And what are the crops which are suitable for the aeroponics? It's like we can use most of the leafy greens for the aeroponics. See, here we can see. Yeah. So in aeroponics also there are different, like this is horizontal stacking, and in the next slide we can see about vertical stacking. So there are two different kinds of aeroponics techniques, horizontal based and vertical based. So we can see this aeroponics tower and many lettuces are being grown here. And this is the overview of the inside view of the aeroponics tower. Here in the lower area, nutrient water is kept, and with the help of high pressure nozzles, water is being sprayed so that the nutrients are being absorbed by the roots and the plant growths. So this is a technique behind the aeroponics. Yeah. And regarding aquaponics, we use other than growing system, we use fish tank, where like sir said, fish water provides natural nutrients for plants and water plant, and the process goes on, and the conversion using the nitrifying bacteria and everything happens. And this system works in a circulating loop. From plants to water goes back to fish tank, and again after nutrients being used, again they are go back to plants. The circulating system in aquaponics. So now we can see what are the benefits of aeroponics versus aquaponics. Water efficiency. We can see like also sir has mentioned, highlighted this point. Aeroponics is the highest precision and highest efficiency model in modern agriculture. So it uses 95% less water by recycling nutrient mist. So we can see there is no media, and only water is being used. There is no wastage, only mist is being used. There is no circulation or whatever, filtering again and everything. So water efficiency is highest in aeroponics. And when coming to aquaponics, it is less, it is somewhat less when compared to aeroponics because of involvement of the fish culture, because some amount being used by the fishes, and so that it is less. But when compared to soil based, it is efficient than compared to soil based one. And regarding yield and density, as we have seen in the earlier slides, aeroponics allows for high density vertical stacking, so that in less spaces we can use large number of towers and we can get large number of output within a very short space. And when coming to aquaponics, not only leafy green produce, we also get fishes. So there are two streams of incomes from aquaponics. So this is the additional advantage when compared to aeroponics. And what is about nutrient control? Absolute precision nutrient levels, because as we use high pressure misting nozzles and all, very precisely nutrient being absorbed by the roots of the plants, and there is no wastage, and nutrient levels can be adjusted by seeing the growth of the plants or difference in the growth of the plants. Immediately we can remove the nutrient water, we can adjust the EC and pH of the water, and we can use the correct balanced water. And when coming to aquaponics, as there is involvement of fishes, it's like pond ecosystem. Organic focused nutrients are naturally derived from fish waste, reducing synthetic fertilizer costs. So regarding cleanliness, so these are mainly like it coming to aesthetic benefit of the system. It's like, as there is no involvement of soil or media, the produce we get from the aeroponics is very clean. So directly we can pluck from the tower and we can directly pack and sell. There is no cleaning, there is no removing of soil or media, whatever. So we get the cleanest produce from the aeroponics. But unlike in aeroponics, we don't get clean produce in aquaponics because of we use media here. So we now coming to challenges in aeroponics versus aquaponics. So the major drawback or major challenge in both the system is initial investment, that is high capex. So whatever the system we are using, it is like it involves high capex for advancing automation, sensors, and misting hardware. Whatever the initial setup we require, it involves high capex. So this is a major drawback, major challenge in most of the modern agricultural systems, especially hydroponics or aeroponics. Aquaponics also involves high capex for fish tanks additionally, and for plumbing for large water, like connections between the production systems and connection to the fish tank, cleaning and everything. It requires large plumbing work. So this the initial investment is very high for both the aeroponics and aquaponics. And technical complexity is also one of the challenges. Just like in aeroponics we use high misting nozzles, so that initial engineering work is precision work, everything is required in the initial stages. So somewhat technical complexities may face by the team whenever they are going to start. And regarding aquaponics is, we need to understand the combination effect of both plants and fishes what we are using in the tank, like how they are behaving initially. So everything we need to understand the biological concept also of the fishes along with the crop. So this is the initial challenge we might face in aquaponics. And maintenance, maintaining all the nozzle parts, everything is also one of the major challenge in aeroponics, as we are only depending upon the nozzles. The mineral may get clog up the nozzles and it may require cleaning regularly. So this is also one of the challenges in aeroponics. And in aquaponics, as there's a lot of process going on, natural processes like conversion of nitrates to nitrates and everything, and again also carefully monitoring about the health of the fishes, everything along with the plants. So it requires somewhat maintenance work daily. So that's also one of the challenges. And sensitivity is high when in aeroponics because of involvement of nozzles, precision techniques and everything. So initial sensitivity is little high when compared to aquaponics. So now we can see what is the reasons for rise in aeroponics and aquaponics in today's modern agriculture. As we discussed earlier, due to rapid urbanization and shrinking of arable land. So what is arable land? Arable land is something which is suitable for agriculture. So as we have discussed earlier, like a lot of use of pesticides and other chemicals into the soil fertility is being reduced and the people are shifting from conventional agriculture to modern agriculture. And severe water scarcity. As we have seen in most of the news and everything, there is a lot of water scarcity, and the people are also shifting their mindset from regular soil convention farming to precision agriculture. So this is the reason for the rise in aeroponics and aquaponics. And the demand for pesticide-free and clean produce, climate change and unpredictable weather. These are all the reasons for rise in aeroponics. And for aquaponics, especially if someone is interested to also get dual income streams, I also want to get like fishes along with the plant produce. So people who are with that mindset, I have seen they can get dual incomes, so they can try for aquaponics. And efficient use of resources, as both are part of like precision agriculture techniques. They use less amount of media, less amount of water, so efficient uses of resources are being utilized in both of this technique. So that's the reason why there is a rise in aeroponics and aquaponics. Yes, so this is the main important concept before someone's want to start up whatever hydroponics or aquaponics, aeroponics in large scale. Like I said, I have seen a comment in the chat box like regarding microgreens and all. So market is most important thing before starting any startup. Just like what is the market size and growth. First, suppose if you would like to start aeroponics or aquaponics in large scale, I would suggest start in a pilot project. And by seeing the quality of the produce and the demand for the your produce in your surroundings area, market and everything, then we can scale up. So rather than shifting directly from uh, zero base to high tech farming with high investment, it may give to losses because there is lack of knowledge or lack of market research and everything. So before starting, we need to understand what is the market size and growth. So how many players are there in the market? How many aeroponic players are in the market? How many hydroponic players are in the market? How many people are doing aquaponics? So what is their growth? How they are managing their sales and strategies and everything. If they are doing well and good and still there's a scope, we can start. But already if people have started and still failing, there is no use of starting by ourselves, right? So we need to understand what is the market size and growth so that we can realize and we can start ourselves, and driving factor for growth. So this everything we can come to know when we do market research. So if some few players are in the market, what is their secret success for their driving factor? What are the driving factors? Is there like cleanest to produce or their quality of the produce? So what is the factor which is helping them for their success? So we need to understand the driving factor for growth, then we can start our USP and all. So this everything comes in the market research. Initially we need to understand the market size, the players outside, what are their key factors, what are their USPs and everything, and know your target audience or customers. So we need to understand first, suppose in a city which is mostly based off uh, eating non-exotic types and all, and creating these agricultural systems using only exotic crops. People may not engage fastly. Maybe they are not fast forward in eating all the exotic crops. So we need to understand the taste of the audience before we start the any project. And identify your competitor. Like we discussed in market size and growth, we need to understand who is our biggest competitor and what are their USPs, what are their products, what are their portfolio. So everything we need to analyze before we start something, especially in the agricultural things, and defend your USP. So if you start anything and still there are many players in the market, we need to be stand out from them. We need to maintain like we are different from them. So what we need to maintain? Either we need to give very high quality produce at affordable rates, or vice versa, combining both of them. We need to use standards and everything. So we need to, if we want to stand uniquely from them, we need to set something very high uniquely from them. So we need to define our USP before we start something. And SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is like doing strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis before starting any project. It helps in realization of what are the strengths of our project, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats before we start something. And pricing models. Pricing models is again a challenge because our country is an agricultural based country. If we start something like spinach and coriander, we need to compete with the farmer, and with the initial high investment we cannot if some farmer is selling 10 rupees a bunch of coriander, if we sell 100 rupees, because of our high apex cost and capex cost, people won't buy because of the price difference. So if we want to compete with the farmers for the high quality produce and all, we need to set our pricing models. It should be like quality and also affordable, along with providing like good produce. So we need to set pricing models before I mean going for large scale. This only happens when we start with initial low cost investment and adjusting the price models, and in scaling up also we can able to understand the pricing models based on the cost of the produce. And sorry, profit margins, distribution channels, AI, IoT in business and everything. These are the most of the factors we need to do before starting or any agricultural based startup. And branding. Branding is also very important factor, because unless we do in this present days and all, branding is utmost important. Without branding we cannot go forward, along with promotional activities. And customer retention. So customer retention is also important. If we give initially with low cost, and again for the attraction of customers, and later if we increase the price because of increase in production cost, that won't work, because we need to get the customers retention, so that our break even point also gets. Yes. So business planning, whatever hydroponics or aeroponics or aquaponics, initial business planning is utmost important. Like initial selection of resources. In case of aeroponics and aquaponics, the setting of aeroponic towers, aquaponic setup, fish variety. So the initial planning is utmost important. And also setting goals and milestones, setting up capital, identifying break-even point. All these points should be considered before starting any project. Or for suppose if someone really want to start, they can do in a pilot project in a small scale, so that your initial investment is very low. Even if you face any challenges like losses, you can bear it yourself. Otherwise, without knowledge, if you're starting directly into large scale, because due to involvement of high capex cost, high investment and all, you may face loss in lakhs or crores only. Yeah, and this is a crop growth analysis. So we have set up everything and everything is doing fine. We have got investment, everything is good. And what is the next factor should be considered, like crop growth analysis. We need to, for the successful venture running and all, we need to record like crop growth and health, in every stage of its life, so that ultimate produce is crop health and quality produce. So we need to monitor regularly about the crop health and performance. Like we need to ensure IPM and IDM are in place, like integrated pest management and disease management are in place, so that during harvest we don't face any hurdles like lack of quality produce, lack of cleanest produce. Greenhouse and crop hygiene are most important, because due to lack of hygiene and cleanliness, crops may be susceptible to diseases and pest attack. So these are all the driving factors for the cleanest to produce. Like balanced pH is also important for crop growth until harvest. And regarding aquaponics, monitoring fish's health is very important. So compliances. For suppose if we want to, like I said, for someone who is want to start up like in a commercial scale up and everything, what are the compliances? Like as crop is food and everything, we need to get some regulations from the government, like food safety regulations, environmental regulations, packaging and labeling. For business purpose, for export and all, we need to get APEDA certification, yield gap, global gap certifications. And for aquaculture, we need to get aquaculture license. So these are all the important licenses, certifications we need to get if we want to start up in a commercial scale for the export and business purpose. And supply chain management is also important to maintain fresh produce directly from the farm to market. We need to have like good supply chain management, so that as our products are perishable, we need to focus on the quality from the farm to the customer. And government support, as this is high investment involved projects and all, we need if someone have like large financial support, they can start their own. If not, they can get the support from the government, like Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. They give funding for all the fish based activities. You can visit website. I have added the link here. And also these are the various government boards where they give funding for the projects, like from National Horticultural Board, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, RAFTAAR from through managed through. And also there are specific state based projects specifically present in their states. From them we can also get the funding. So it depends upon again in the community wise and also state wise. You can discuss with your local agricultural officer to know which are the active schemes present in your area to get the funding. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pranita ma'am, for such an engaging session. You overview of completely hydroponics, aeroponics, and aquaponics helps us better understand how soilless system can produce food efficiently in small and controlled spaces, and especially for highlighting the important aspects such as market research, business planning, crop growth analysis, and compliance requirements, supply chain management, and what are the government schemes which are crucial for anyone planning to enter in this sector. Thank you once again for sharing your knowledge with us. So the participants, if you have any questions regarding these two sessions, you can keep in chat box, and also you can raise your hand, so the questions will be taken up now. So yeah, I'm seeing, I think, many more questions in the chat box. First, I'll unmute Manu Singh. Manavi Singh. Hello, Manavi Singh, are you there? I think he's not there. Kapil? Yes, hello, Kapil.
आज मैं परमिशन लूंगा उससे जाने की, आज लूंगा परमिशन। बोलो सर, मैं थोड़ा सा जाना था परे तक जरा।
Yeah, I'll take the questions in chat box. Mithun sir, are you there? Hello, Mithun sir. Yeah, kindly unmute yourself. Now it is the time for discussions. I'll take up the questions. So there is a question from Jagan. So what is the cost of maintaining the aeroponic? Kindly unmute yourself and explain. No, you're not audible. I think you have to increase your system volume. It's not audible, sir. Pranita ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, sir. So someone is asking what is. No, sir, you're not audible actually. Gauri, is it audible? Not audible, right?
No, it's not
No,
audible.
I think some problem with the Mithun sir system. I don't know. So Pranita ma'am, one question, one participant is asking what is the cost of maintaining this aeroponics and will this work in summer on terrace?
Yes, regarding the cost of aeroponics, depend on the whether you're using on it on like soil, like taking a land for lease or your own land, or you're setting in the terrace, everything. So everything depends on the like permanent factors and all, like with on the soil or without soil or in the uh, on the rooftop, everything. For suppose if someone is would like to uh, set up on leased land, the cost may vary from city to city or state to state. If you're having own land and would like to set up, the cost may vary, because in that case you might require only the setup cost, like towers cost. And the towers cost also depend vary on the brand and the number of channels and everything. So we can contact the dealers who are dealing with the aeroponic towers for the estimation of the cost based on the size of the crop you require. For suppose if someone is would like to start within a limit space with only 10 towers, the cost may vary. And for large scale like 100 to 200 towers, the cost may vary. So it varies, depends upon the cost varies depends upon the supplier, again with the land, with the lease land or own land, everything it depends. So everything is interlinked. So we need to understand our scenario, because um, how much we are expecting to grow, how much capital we are feasible. Like suppose if someone would like to start, like I said, small area, the cost varies. Someone would like to have grow in a large area, the cost varies. So and also the size of the towers also varies from small size to large size, and also number of channels from dealer to dealer. So everything is interlinked. There is no specific cost like that, but it depends from the scenario to scenario.
Okay, ma'am. Gauri, is he joining again, sir? Mithun sir?
Actually, ma'am, sir is in attendees. We have to make
He's in
him.
attendees. Okay. Hello, Mithun sir.
Hello.
Yeah, now you are audible, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll unmute the participants so that they can ask questions. Dr. Gurdev?
I got through some this chat. I got some 4 or 5 questions. If I can reply to those questions, and then the participant can ask some more questions if they have. See,
Sure,
I
sir.
saw one questions. Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I saw one question from Mr. Santosh from Tamil Nadu. He's asking if the water pH is around 8.5 and it is very highly salty. Is anything can be grown in that thing? I can remember 1 or 2 crops which can be grown in that area because it is high pH. It can be Chinese cabbage, thyme, celery. Some of these crops which can sustain high pH can be grown. Of course, see, there are 2 options. Whether you take the pH and control, if you pass this water through a filtration system and purify this water and make a normal recipe of nutrient, any crop can be grown. Or if you want to use the same water fixed with that water and reduce your capex cost. See, lot of capex talks are going on. A simple greenhouse can be also a controlled environment agriculture. Okay, a normal shade is also a controlled environment agriculture, wherein you don't have a much capex. It is about the economy of scale. It is about what is your market demand, what is your economics, how much you can invest, and what is your return on investment you want. Everything works on that sense. Okay, so answering his questions, there are certain crops which can be pH tolerant, high pH tolerant, which can be used, or you purify this water and give to any crops. That is one answer I can think of. Another question there is from Mr. Rudra Prasad, where land fertility is less, can hydroponic and aeroponic system can be used? Of course, yes, because that is a major reason why hydroponic and aeroponic can be used in any non-arable land also. It can be, land is not utilized at all, so there is other system of hydroponic wherein you don't touch the land. If it is very high salty land where normal cultivation is impossible, that kind of land is easily available. Like, with less money you can get that land and convert into an agriculture productive land. That is what is the controlled environment or hydroponic and aeroponics is all about. You can use those land for agriculture purpose. Are there any government scheme? Of course, my previous speaker has given a slide on that. I don't have to answer, and managed people are well knowledgeable to answer those things, because there are a lot of government scheme. Of course, yes. Next, can you explain the real life problems in soilless cultivation? The question is, when you are asking from real life problems, once you start entering into the real life scenario, once you enter into the agriculture, real life scenarios are different. Of course, there will be a lot of insect damage, sometimes there will be a disease, sometimes there will be some or other nutrition deficiency. Once you enter into the real life problems, means once you enter into the business, you will start facing the real life problems. And that time, of course, your knowledge will help, your contacts will help you. You can approach to any expert who can help you. So real life problems will keep coming. So people thinking ki problems will come and I will not enter into hydroponics. I suggest, if you enter into hydroponics, it is not a problem free journey. Agriculture is a problem, and hydroponics specifically, it's problem in the sense, like, if you can manage these factors properly, the problems will be less. I can suggest that. Another question from Shavik. The plant is grown in soilless media and techniques can become soil. Okay. The question is, like, in the soil, there is a lot of beneficial microorganisms which is benefiting the crops. Of course, yes. But in the soil, there is a lot of harmful microorganisms which are also affecting the roots. So it is a two-way. Soil has a lot of beneficial microorganisms and soil has a lot of non-beneficial and disease-causing organisms. It is there. So the fact is, in the hydroponics, there are a lot of new techniques are coming wherein you put a lot of microbiota which is required by the crop artificially inoculate in the soil system or in the growing system. That way you can get the advantages of the plant regulating microorganisms. You get the advantage and you don't get the disadvantage of disease causing microorganisms. Next information is okay. Yeah, any other questions? I think I have covered 4 or 5 questions, but any other questions I can take up. I will be glad to take up.
Yes. Yeah. So there is one more question from Karan Jadhav. He's asking, are only horticulture crops grown in aeroponics?
See, any crop can be grown in any systems, but it is about the costing of the crop, the selling point. What is the crop? If you want to grow wheat and sell 1 kg of wheat, it will not cost you. It will not work out for you. Okay, so it is better to go for a high costing value, value added crops to get the economics correct. That is a issue. Another somewhere I was going through, people were telling me it is easy for an agriculture point of view, but because the subject is developing in such a way that lot of external helps are needed. Lot of engineers are welcome in agriculture. Lot of data scientists are welcome in agriculture. I always recommend ki people from not from agriculture background also come into agriculture. This is how the scenario is coming up, where non-agriculture people can enter into agriculture because they have expertise in engineering, because they have expertise in chemistry, because they have expertise in physics, because they have expertise in data science. It is always welcome, and that is why this field is opening up. Lot of agriculture is one of the major subject, yes, but lot of other subjects are integrating into this agriculture and becoming and developing a new kind of subject. So I always, my recommendation is always, if there is a non-agriculture people who wants to open up an aeroponics or who wants to open up an hydroponic farms, they are always welcome, because government is promoting, and it is the beauty of combining their knowledge with agriculture is, which is beneficial, which is going to be beneficial.
So someone is asking, I think Rakshita has raised the hand. I'll unmute Rakshita. Rakshita?
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning, Rakshita. Please go ahead.
Sir, I'm particularly not focusing on urban agriculture, but still, why you think, sir, paddy is not commercially cultivated in hydroponics or aeroponics? What is the difficulty in cultivating that, sir? As paddy is one of the most stable crops in India.
As I was answering, like, if hydroponic, there is lot of energy requirement, lot of effort requirement, lot of economics. I mean, you have to make a structure out of it, and then growing paddy is not going to be economical. It is not that the paddy cannot be grown, because the field crops, you have lot of fields, and we are we are lucky to be in India, because we have arable lands, we have enough arable lands, we have enough water. In some countries, like whether you go to Saudi Arabia, or whether you go to desert country where the land is not at all available, they're converting those lands into field crop lands. But it is generally recommended that hydroponic is done for precious crops, whether it is unseasonal crops, whether you have a good market for that crop, which are not able to grow in India, like some lettuces. Few years back, because lettuces needs a lot of cold temperature, we were not having that much of cold temperature. Some of them were coming from a lot of other countries. So that is how some blueberries, example, blueberries were coming from other countries. Now we can grow blueberries using hydroponic. Whether it is strawberries, which is only available for only two months, it can be grown into hydroponics. So that time duration, economics, everything has to be managed, everything has to be taken into consideration. See, potato seed production, yes, of course, potato seed production, where the potato seeds are costly, you need a control environment to create those potato tubers. Again, yes, hydroponic or aeroponic can be used, but I generally will not recommend it you use rice or wheat for growing, hydroponically grow those field crops.
Pranita ma'am, you want to add anything?
Yeah, just like sir said, growing anything in hydroponics and aeroponics or whatever the system is only feasible if we would like to grow some high value crops, because as the initial investment is high, growing high cost of crops only can give us some value addition. Yes, just like I said, if you are competing with the farmer and growing like what farmer grows and competing with him, our capex and initial investment won't be feasible, because the farmer may has only field, but we need to cover all our production cost, initial setup cost, that we may not get using low cost crops. We only get using high cost crops with this system, so that our break even may come early. Yes.
Krishna Priya, are you there? Hello, Krishna Priya.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself, Krishna Priyan. I'm from Tamil Nadu. And my question is that, are there any subsidies that is available, or does the government aims to promote the sustainable practices like this, like aeroponics, soilless cultivation practices?
Pranita ma'am, you want to say?
Yes, regarding subsidies and all, as I said in the presentation, central government is having like Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana for fish-based startups and all, we can contact our nearby if you have any aquaculture-based center near in your state or area, we can contact and they can give the details. Because as the website provides, they are providing by the government, we need to check with the local team as well for the feasibility and all. Because in some areas, due to lack of utilization of all these schemes, they are stopping those schemes and they are not providing full thing and all. So the lack of communication, something is happening around within these states, I mean departments. We need to know what are the active schemes present in your local area. But as per the government mentioned in the websites and all, there are many incentives, funding projects are being provided by the horticultural board for the horticultural based products, and for the fish based, like I said, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana is also present. We can contact them.
So Green City Biotech. Hello, Green City Biotech.
Hello, good
Yeah,
morning, sir. Yeah, actually, I am from Tamil Nadu. Already, sir has answered. So, our water is too much pH, very high pH. So, is there any clogging issue or something will happen if it's too much pH?
I think I have answered the question. Like if because of high pH, you can go to a specific crops which loves high pH. Of course, there
Okay.
can be some crops like celery, and I named 2 or 3 of them. Other approaches, you can purify this water and reduce the pH value and use
Yeah,
it for.
if we do that, is it viable, sir? If you purify the water,
Yeah.
is it viable? Is it profitable?
Again, it is about the scale, it is about how much area you wanted to cultivate, it is about the economics, which crop you wanted to sell, what is the per kg of that crop. See, viability will come with a proper project analysis. When there is a lot of data is captured, a lot of analysis is done, and then you can understand whether it is viable or not viable. So before entering into any project, it is always advisable to get the proper viability test done. What kind of crops you are thinking of, what kind of land you have, what is your water quality, what is your structures you are wanted to production, like whether what kind of greenhouse, whether it is a low cost greenhouse, whether it is a high cost greenhouse, whether high end water purification systems or low end water purification systems, what kind of systems you are want to put, how much is your going to be your capex, what is your opex, what is your labor cost, what is your crop which can be identified. So those things has to be taken care. Like hydroponics, I always recommend, I mean, we as a team always recommend for high value crops, whether it is a floriculture crops, whether you have a good export market ready. A lot of Indian market is opening up for Western worlds, and European market and Middle East companies are asking for Indian agriculture products. So we have to have less pesticide in the products. So flower can be one product, fruits can be one. I mean, small scale fruits can be one product, or bush berries can be one product. Lot of vegetables, fresh green vegetables can be one product. So the market has to be analyzed. Based on that, you have to analyze what is your land availability, what is the project, or what kind of government support you are getting, what kind of greenhouse you want to set, what is the purification system, whether you can have a low purification system and high purification system. Again, based on your project valuation, you have to take a call. The more uh, control you do, like if I do shading, if I do automation, if I do a lot of sensors, how do I get benefited? Can I reduce my number of labors? Can I reduce my man hour? All those things has to be worked out, and then proper planning is required for each project base.
Yeah. So I thank you, sir. I can take up one last question from Ayush Kumar. Can we apply the aeroponics and hydroponics principles of methodologies to the forestry practices? If yes, then can you please briefly explain?
Forestry, yes, of course. Like these are general practices and techniques wherein precision is needed. in the forestry I can think of is nursery generation. There is a lot of demand, lot of things are coming up in forestry, for forestry as well as horticulture also, like nurseries, whether it is pomegranate, whether it is guava. Again, controlled environment agriculture can be done for this nursery development or for forestry development, not for forest of course, but nursery development. These areas you can use these techniques.
So one last question from Prasoon. What should be the minimum land you think is sustainable for small farmer to start with? For Anita ma'am or Mithun sir, anyone?
Yeah, for small, at least I believe 1 to 2 acres is the minimum standard size where a minimum small structure of greenhouse can be taken up. And whether you wanted to go ahead and next level of, whether it can be hydroponic, whether it is an NFT system, whether it is aquaponic or aeroponic, then based on your feasibility test, based on your market analysis, based on your expertise, based on your help around what is that you want to grow, you can take a call.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, participants, for all your questions. I'm so sorry I'm not able to take up all the questions. Still, I can see questions and many participants want to talk with the speakers. So don't worry, you can still reach out to the speaker. Their contact details are shared in the chat box. And also, if you miss any part of the today webinar and if you want to watch the key insights, the YouTube link to watch the full session is also given in the chat box. And also to stay updated on upcoming events and programs and exciting opportunities from the Managed Incubation Center, be sure to follow us on our social media platforms. Along with this, as we have launched a Managed Fish Hub Incubation Center. So with this incubation center, we are opening doors to the various programs. To know more details about the programs where we are conducting what is the programs, you can follow us on social media handles, and also you can check the chat box for the more details. And before concluding the session, I would like to thank Dr. Mithun sir and Pranita ma'am for sharing your valuable insights and also for answering all the questions of the participants patiently. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Sarunandra sir, Director, for organizing this webinar. And also my thanks go to entire Manacia team for their efforts in organizing today's webinar. Finally, don't forget to give the feedback of this webinar. The feedback link is also given in the chat box. Do research for the upcoming webinar and see you next week with another exciting topic. Until then, please take care. Bye. Thank you, Mithun sir, and thank you, Pranita ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, participants.